Welcome to the first video outlining 5 different keto breakfasts. And the first one that we are going to do will be an omelet, a cream cheese omelet with pork belly. All right, and the main ingredients that we're going to need here will be eggs. And the omelet I'm going to make, this is going to be proportioned just for myself. We need 2 eggs. I'm using Philadelphia cream cheese. The criteria for the cream cheese is to make sure that it does not contain more than 1 gram of carbohydrate, the 1 gram per carb rule. All right. So when you buy the cream cheese at the store, you need to flip the package around and specifically read the label and make sure that you are buying a cream cheese that does not have more than 1 gram of carbs per serving. And then we also need the pork belly. Now, when you buy this at the store, it may come as a slab and you may have to cut it up yourself. Or like you can see, the pork belly that I have actually looks like bacon, but it's not bacon, all right? This has not been cured or soaked in anything. It's literally pork with a lot of fat, all right? And I'm going to, in the next segment, I'm going to teach you how, at least one method for cooking this. This entire meal only takes about 20 minutes to prepare. But what I'm going to do is break this down into 3 segments, all right? The first segment will be preparing the pork belly. The second segment will be cooking the omelet. And the third segment will be plating the whole thing out so you can see how it turned out. The first thing to do is to get your pork belly, and you can see that I have this cut. I'm going to make 3 segments of this, or 3 lengths of it. So I've cut these into, perhaps they're in 5-inch segments. You need, and obviously you need a frying pan for this, and I'm using a relatively small one. Place the pork bellies into the frying pan so they're sitting nicely. And then we're going to salt and pepper them, and I also put tahini onto the strips of the pork belly. Now we use Himalayan pink salt, but any salt's gonna do, all right? There's no specialty thing here. And make sure, especially in the keto lifestyle, you need to keep the salt up. So you can see I just heavily salted the pork bellies, and then I'm gonna go in with the tahini. And I put a liberal amount on each of these. And because the pork belly has a lot of fat in it, which makes this ideal for the keto lifestyle, I didn't add extra oil to the frying pan. And then I'm going to add some pepper, to the top. And I like my stuff heavily peppered. All right, and okay, so next we're going to move to the actual cooking. You can see that we're cooking the pork bellies outside. I've got my frying pan sitting on the burner that's part of my grill. The reason that I'm doing this is because inside we don't have a hood over our oven, and my wife prefers that I do frying out here because that way we don't have the lingering smells in the house. And so you can see that the pork bellies are cooking here. I brought the salt and pepper and the tahini outside with me, and then I have a tongs to flip these. Now you can see that I flipped the pork bellies. They're nice and brown on the one side, and I then hit them with tahini and salt and pepper again, and I'm letting the fresher side now brown up before I take them in. So I think it's fair to say that I've been frying about 5 minutes to each side, and I don't overcook them because you can see the fat that has come out into the frying pan, and I want to keep as much of that in the pork bellies as I can, because that's the reason why this is such an awesome keto breakfast is because the pork bellies have so much fat in them, and I don't want to cook the fat completely out, although some people prefer to do that. So I brought the frying pan in with my fried pork bellies, and to protect my counter, I'm just setting the frying pan down on a wooden cutting board. One thing I may have forgotten to mention in terms of cooking temperature is that if you go with a medium-high flame, that this seems to do the cooking at a fast enough rate where you're not waiting too long. Remember, the entire meal, my video is going to be much longer than what this meal actually takes. It takes about 20 minutes from start to finish in order to do it. So now what I'm going to do is go ahead and just pull the pork bellies out onto the plate that I intend to eat my entire breakfast on. And for now, I'm just going to put 2 of the pork bellies here. Actually, I'll just pull the third one out. And I'll grab another plate that I'll have my breakfast on. Now, the thing is with the frying pan, right, it's all ready to go for the eggs. So I'm going to set this directly onto my stove now, and in the next sequence we'll prepare the scrambled eggs. I mean, the eggs for the omelet. Okay, now for the eggs. So what I've done is set my area up here so that I'm ready to mix the eggs for the omelet, and I've already cut up my cream cheese into segments. I'm not going to use all of this, right? But I'm just going to use by sight the amount that I feel good putting into the omelet part of the preparation for the eggs. All right, and I'm just going to crack 2 eggs into the appropriate bowl. Wash up my hands here quickly. All right, and then we're going to scramble up the eggs. I like to get mine pretty homogeneous, but you can mix them how you want. There's no special secret to this. All right, and then into the frying pan they go. And like I said, I don't clean the frying pan, so I'm going to do the omelet literally in the oil that was cooked out of my pork belly. All right, so let's get the flame started on this. All right, and I'm going to let that cook a little bit before I add the cream cheese. All right, so what I've done is I've let my omelet cook up a little bit around all the sides there. You can see how the eggs have solidified nicely, and you can see the white globules of cream cheese that have now been added or dispersed on one side of what's going to be the omelet. Nicely flipped again. And now here's the meal plated, and you can see how wonderful it looks. I've chosen the 2 pork bellies that have the most fat on them, and this is combined with an omelet that is made of cream cheese. Just remember to select a cream cheese at the store based on what I call the 1 gram of carb rule. It should not, the package should say that there's not more than 1 gram of carbs in it. So this is my omelet. All right, and I'm going to move it to the table, and then I will give you one more detail. This fantastic keto breakfast would not be complete without some hot sauce, and this is the brand that I prefer because not only does it taste good, but there are 0 carbs in it. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of this on my meat and across my omelet, and we are ready to go.